once you have Blender installed, if you click on the desktop icon, you will end up with a screen something like this. This right here is our splash screen. It tells you the build of the Blender. It tells you the build of the Blender software. You can do donations. There's a manual here, a link to the website. On this side, if it's your first time opening Blender, this should be blank over here. I've worked on some .blend files previously, and it brings those up, what you've last worked on, for easy access to, if you want to continue a project. All right, so let's just click off the screen here, and this will bring up our default Blender scene, which includes a cube, a camera, and a light. You can see that the cube has a orange line around it. That means it is actually our selected object. To select an object in Blender, you can right-click it with your mouse. So let's right-click the camera, and you can right-click the light. Just right-click our cube down here. One important thing is up here in your file menu, you can click on this. So this is where you'll have you can start a new project, which is this default scene. It takes everything back to default settings. You have an open file in case you have any Blender files you're wanting to work on. Save as. User preferences. If you're not using a 3-button mouse, or if you have a laptop that does not have a numpad key on it, you'll have to go under your user preferences. And under input, you'll see here emulate 3-button mouse. Like I said, if you don't have a mouse with the middle button, you'll have to use the emulate 3-button mouse, which means that you use Alt and left to substitute for your middle mouse button. Emulate numpad. If you do not have a numpad on your computer, like a laptop, you will check this, and then it'll make your 1 through 0 keys at the top, your main number keys, will act as your numpad. So if you do not have either one of these, a 3-button mouse or a numpad, I would suggest getting a 3-button mouse because it's not that much, but a computer, it can be more, so you might want to you might not have a numpad, you might have to do this option here. If you select that, and then you'll just do save user settings down here, it'll save that setting for you, and next time, and I'm not sure if the next time you open Blender, if you'll have to do this again, or if you might have to do this every time when you turn off the program, but it's easy enough, so it will save it while you're in the program now. So since I don't have to do either one of those, I'm going to get off of this. And the reason you need a middle mouse pad is very important is, as you can see, if I scroll my middle mouse pad, my middle mouse wheel, I can zoom in and zoom out. I believe I heard the other day that if you're using a Mac, it's kind of the opposite. If you forward, you scroll out. If you scroll back, you zoom in. But on I believe most computers, this will be, scroll in, scroll out, zoom out. If you hold down your middle mouse button, and if I move left, I orbit to the left. If I move right, I orbit to the right. I can orbit, if I push the mouse forward, orbit down, and orbit up. And this gives you, so you can see different angles of your mesh once you start getting more complicated meshes and things like that. And that's if you hold down on the middle mouse button and orbit around. Another thing you might want to do is pan your scene. So if I hold down Shift and hold down my middle mouse button, I can move left and right. A little bit different than orbiting, but I can move left and right, up and down like this. All right, your num keys are important because you can go into a front view with 1. And as you can see down here in the corner, if I orbit around a little bit, if I go like this, you can see that I have an X, Y, and a Z in my bottom left-hand corner. These are our axes on 3D space. In 3D space, you have the green line here is your Y-axis, red line's your X-axis, and then you can't see it right now, but there's a blue line. Usually comes like this blue marker here, a blue line that goes up and down, and that will be your Z-axis. If I press 1, I'll go into front view. Sorry. If I go into 1, let me zoom in and kind of get it in the center here. Okay. So I'm in this front mode right here. Now this button right here is your method of displaying your objects. Right now we're in a solid mode, so we're not seeing anything else. We're just seeing a solid cube. If I go into wireframe mode, what it'll do is it'll show my edges. So as you can see, right now we're in a front perspective mode. And what perspective means is we're getting some foreshortening on this on this cube. So as you can see, I have the front edge of the cube here. These are the sides, and this is the back edge, the farthest edge away from me. To get out of the perspective mode, we got another mode. If you hit 5 on your numpad, it'll take you into what's called orthogonal mode. As you notice, there is no foreshortening. It's just a black, and then now our blue line appears. So it's more of a flat, no perspective to the image. This is good to work in sometimes. It's just less confusing sometimes, and then sometimes you'll go into perspective mode to kind of check your mesh, But right now, this is a little bit easier to deal with, in my opinion. All right, so let's get back out of the shortcut key for this display mode is also the Z key, and that's you can go between. Press Z, you can go between solid and wireframe. Right now, we're just going to stay in the solid mode. So we're in front orthogonal right now.